What makes a good Christmas Carol adaptation?
Accuracy or thematic accuracy?
You haven't read the book, so I'm asking you.
I listened to your stream once.
You listen to me reading some of the book.
Yeah. Story-wise, the arc of Scrooge has to be well executed.
The best thing about A Christmas Carol is the redemption arc, which requires all at least three elements to be properly concrete. But that we, the viewer, believe that Scrooge is bad, that we believe that he's gone through a journey that would cause him to be good, and that he is good at the end. And that him being good, I suppose, is a positive force in the world that actually improves the lives of people around him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't to drag out any of those plot points too far, hit these beats, and do them without it dragging on.
When I'm watching A Christmas Carol adaptation, I like to make a sort of mental checklist of whether this could all be a dream. Like, could this conceivably be a very vivid dream that Scrooge is having? In other words, is there information that he's getting from the ghosts that he couldn't have conceivably just remembered or been making up? Or
well, the only one of that is the present. You'd be able to, like, past is obviously it's all of his memories.
So he sees Cratchit's family having Christmas, but wouldn't he just imagine what it might be like for Cratchit's family to have Christmas?
Yeah.
Because in some adaptations, now that he gets to go back and have Christmas Day and he's there, he uses his privileged information, the things that he learnt from the ghost's visit, to make changes. You know, knowing what's going to happen that day, he can go and intervene in what's happening. Which I don't like, because it's just kind of he's got magic powers now. He's basically got time travel.
In the book?
No. So he does. You'd say he sees that the Cratchits have a very small goose, and he uses that information to buy them a big turkey. But I think he knows how poor the Cratchits are. This guy's obsessed with money. Like, he knows that they don't have money to spend on a big goose.
There's been a few adaptations I've seen where he doesn't know that Tiny Tim exists.
Makes it more grounded. The idea that he doesn't have, like, time travel powers. Do you have more general things to say about Scrooge before we get into ranking the films?
I mean, adaptations of Scrooge fall into two main camps. There's the adaptations and the remixes.
A remix?
Yeah.
Okay.
The adaptations are like, the Sim version, the Patrick Stewart one.
There's a man who's literally called Ebenezer Scrooge.
Ebenezer Scrooge. It's an adaptation.
He's a moneylender who lives in London.
In 1843. It's an adaptation. And then there's the remixes where, like Bill Murray in Scrooged, or like in Spirited or whatever, where it usually has like three ghosts in it. There's usually a mean man in it.
Or woman.
They can be called Scrooge or not Scrooge, but they've got the same basic arc. Often it's like modern day whenever they actually made the film.
Or the parody. Flintstones, or
I'd say all those fall into sort of
That's a remix.
The remix, where they're not trying to adapt the novel. They're taking the novel as an inspiration and they're playing around with it.
I would say the parody is its own category, because it's the remixes that you're describing. They often have the same message and the same character arc, whereas the parody will usually subvert it often and have, like in Blackadder's Christmas, which I haven't included the parodies here because they don't follow the same narrative.
I don't really care about the parodies. As just like they're just jokes, aren't they? Basically,
they're often much shorter, and they're not going for the same.
The remixes are interesting because of the things they keep and the things they change.
Yeah,
like the decision to quite a lot of the remixes are actually set in a world where the novel or the events happened. Right? Yeah, so it's like canon. Like in Scrooge, it's a meta thing where they're actually doing an adaptation of Scrooge on TV.
So you're saying the characters in the remix, they know about Ebenezer Scrooge written by Dickens?
Yeah. Or it's like in Spirited, where is it Spirited?
Yeah.
where Scrooge is like a character.
Yeah.
It is a real person in history, and it's like based off centuries after that. Those ones are interesting because they kind of to the degree they stick with the story, and to the degree they sort of play around with the story. Because I mean, everyone's seen. The thing about the adaptations is it's just a kind of competition about who can make it the perfect ideal of a Christmas Carol. They go, okay, there's a perfect way you could do a Christmas Carol, and we're going to attempt to create it.
Yeah.
And with the remixes, it's kind of like, okay, we're going to try and thematically do Christmas Carol, but we're going to kind of play around with it. Maybe you won't know. We're going to bob and weave. We might do something that you're not expecting. We might have, we might subvert your expectations.
Scrooge gets back together with Belle.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. What about musicals? That's a kind of different? It's a category, but it's like a musical can fall into any of these categories.
Is another interesting thing that's happened with Christmas Carol adaptations is that they seem to have a lot of musicals.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since the Albert Finney 1971 one, it's been a I would say it's not every single one since then has been a musical, but there's been a disproportionate number of musical Christmas carols.
I think it's a hammy story with big emotional beats that lends itself to a musical. It's called A Christmas Carol because it's got that kind of verse-chorus structure, I think.
I guess there's a lot. It's also interesting how many kid versions there are as well, cartoon.
Yeah, I think because it's got such a wholesome morality and a Christmas theme, and it's because it's in public domain, it's sort of just low-hanging fruit for making remakes. Hence, why we're doing this.
It doesn't really seem to be a suitable kids.
With the kids encouraging kids to be nice and to share with people. And to believe in Christmas.
Yeah. I guess it's just understanding that Scrooge just missed out his opportunity on getting married, and his business partner, and the loan collecting scheme and stuff like that. It's not It's a bit like Star Wars Episode 1. Sort of there's a lot of why is he collecting? Why has he got money? Who's he getting money from? Yeah. It's not.
It's not a world that children really understand.
Well, I think the kids, can probably enjoy it. It's just it doesn't seem to be the perfect kids.
I think kids love Christmas so much that the idea of someone not liking Christmas really resonates as making this guy a villain.
Yeah, it's definitely got kids do spooky stuff, so it's got that element to it. Yeah, people talk about the Mickey's one being. Scary, scary when they were young, stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you think about the Scrooge? It seems like other reviewers have mentioned that Scrooge is often made more evil than he is in the book to make it sort of more cartoonishly malevolent and more. He's not just disinterested in Christmas; he sort of actively hates it.
Yeah, which is the one where he is it the Patrick Stewart one where he was about to hit Tiny Tim?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
The adaptations and the remixes often go for that, where they're kind of maybe they don't understand the source material, they don't really care. They'll up the ante as far as this is the meanest Scrooge ever.
Quintessentially, Scrooge's line is, "You keep Christmas in your way, and let me keep it in mine."
Yeah.
But I think it's very telling when they don't include that line and make it seem like he's out to ruin Christmas for everyone.
American Christmas Carol, where he fires Bob
He does
Cratchit.
that sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't Scrooge's meanest to is Scrooge.
Yeah, he suffers the most from his.
Yeah, he lives
meanness.
in this rundown place, and
it's cold and dark, and he doesn't let anyone into his life.
Yeah. Okay, should we go through these rankings?
We watched quite a few. We didn't watch them in chronological order, but I thought it would make sense to review them in chronological order.
I mean, there are a lot of adaptations, a lot of obscure.
A lot of animated ones, a lot of short ones. These, I think, are all feature-length except for Mickey's Christmas. Another animated one.
To be honest, we're overdosed on them because like some of them just like merge into one.
Well, that's why I've got this sort of visual aid to help us.
Okay.
But can I say, I never got bored of watching A Christmas Carol. Like, some of them were bad, but I was still kind of intrigued about what would happen next. Like, where are they going with this? Like, I was always just, like, along for the ride. I'm just up for watching more of these. I'd watch 14 more of them if I could.
Well, I'm sure there will be.
So, yeah, I've just got the trailers here to remind us what happened. But Alistair Sim in 1951 is still a lot of people's favourite, and I think I can see why. What do you remember about this one?
It's got some extra scenes in it. There's like a bit with like Marley's dying. You see him, and like Scrooge.
The Undertaker's outside.
Scrooge doesn't want to go there until he's finished business at 7 p.m. Like,
I mean, it's all very in character. It's not like they added really bad stuff, but I am curious as to why a lot of screenwriters think that Dickens like can be improved on. The book is so good. I'm not saying that you can't make any changes at all, but when they just randomly add stuff or randomly change something as if they're trying to improve it, I don't really understand that impulse. Like, oh, Dickens would have included this scene if only he'd had more time, if only he'd, made a longer book? Like, why in adapting this great story to the film they thought they needed this?
Yeah, they do definitely tend to stick a lot of stuff in the past. Stuff that was very good. Like, apparently this was the one that was shown, like, in America. I don't know, it's because the actual film went out of copyright or whatever. For whatever reason, it was just heavily in rotation in, like, the 60s and 70s.
It's not a musical.
No. It's a straight adaptation.
It's set in Dickensian London. I think Alistair Sim is one of my favourite Scrooge portrayals. Yeah,
I do like his transformation. He's definitely like... He's not like hyper evil as well when he's Scrooge. I think he gets the sort of the grumpy Scrooge, right?
Mm.
And he gets like... It's a more believable, more subtle like transformation between his initial character and his happy character. I do like it, like his slightly
manic.
His manic performance when he realizes that he can fix everything. Yeah.
There he is. He's chasing his housekeeper around. He's got such a weird face. Like, I really want Scrooge to be ugly. I don't know what it is. The fact that no one likes him, that he likes no one, it really doesn't suit a handsome man. So I like, not that Alistair Sim's like horrific or anything, but he's got a slightly weird face. He's got slightly bulging eyes and like a pointed nose.
Yeah, he's good.
And I really like how he looks at this.
Yeah, I'd probably put it in S tier.
S tier, okay. That's a strong starter.
Oh, yeah.
It's this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. There are so many adaptations between, like, I think we said the first one is in 1920 or some ridiculously early.
Oh, there's one's going back to like 1900s.
Yeah.
Sort of Lost or whatever. Yeah, there was just, I think it was out of cover. Yeah, it was infamously like ripped off the day it came out, wasn't it?
The book, you mean?
Yeah, the book, and they started doing stage plays of it as well. And he didn't get any money from it. So
yeah, it was very popular in its time. The book.
You're always popular in its time,
and thereafter. The Alistair Sim one was so good. It's kind of hard to see how they could improve on it in that.
I think like the 1938 one, or there's a 1940 one that's looked quite interesting, but we didn't get to that one.
So instead of putting the trailer for this one, I've got the best scene from Albert Finney.
Yeah. Is
this actor? Notable, I wanted to mention how he looks like a really dastardly, ugly Scrooge. But he was only 38 years old.
35.
So he's one of the only Scrooges who's both the young Scrooge and the old Scrooge.
Yeah.
Which I think really works. Like, it's kind of distracting when you're seeing...
Yeah, really good.
It's good, like, when he's old and when he's young. This scene is really, really strong. This is the thank you very much. This one's a musical. So this is one of the Christmas future. It's often a kind of skipped past... like scene from the book, like this Christmas future often gets kind of like skim past this stuff. But in this case, they make a whole new musical number where instead of just a single couple being relieved that Scrooge has died and that their loan will be, shuffled around for a few weeks and they can figure out how to make the payments, The entire town is delighted. Like all of his debtors are delighted at his death, and this very talented Cockney gentleman starts a song down the street of them singing this song, "Thank You Very Much," while his coffin is being taken away in a hearse. And the only reason I'm going so much to explain this, I'm putting it on the screen, is because it really is the best part of the film. And,
yeah, I'm gonna say, well, this film, for a musical, it sucks. All of the songs are crap apart from this one, which is an absolute banger.
But it comes back at the end after he's redeemed, and they do a reprise as well.
Yeah, it's good. Like I think this whole sequence, both dramatically and song-wise, is my favourite bit of Scrooge, of all the Scrooges.
Of all the Scrooges, it's the high point of everything we watched.
Yeah, I think the only downside to it is that I dislike that he doesn't get to find out that it's his coffin.
Yeah, so he's dancing along with them. He thinks that they're all rejoicing he knows that they're talking about him, but he doesn't know that the coffin is there. So he doesn't know why they're thanking him.
He just sees it, and like everyone's happy that happy for some reason, and they're all singing "Thank you very much," and he sort of like he gets into it. He starts dancing. The scene is funny.
Yeah.
It's well performed. The sets are great. The song is great.
Look at all these extras. There's so many.
Yeah, it looks super good. And my only downside is like I would like to have been like a crash ending with him finding out that it's his coffin, and they're all. Whereas like you don't get that. They keep going, and then there's another scene with Tiny Tim or whatever.
Yeah. He gets his bubble burst not by finding out that he's died,
his
but by finding out that
his bubble doesn't really burst. It's sort of like just.
Yeah, he finds out that Tiny Tim's died, so that kind of takes the wind out of their sails. Think about this adaptation, like none of the performances are bad. Like the costumes are good, the sets are good. It's really just like the screen, the actual script and the songs are really poor.
Yeah.
But there was another bit I liked. At the start, he's going around, so the introduction to the Scrooge character, he goes around to all the people he's lent money to, and when they can't pay him because it's Christmas and money's tight or whatever, he just adds interest, and he thinks he's being very generous by giving them extra time to pay him back.
Yeah, I've got a sort of love-hate relationship with this film. Like, it's a musical. There's one good song.
Yeah.
That's a real flatliner. Everything else about it is really good, like his performance, the sets, the acting.
So what's the rating?
I put it in B.
B?
Yeah.
The tiers, by the way, are S tier, and we have A and B.
You should really go like S is Scrooged here.
We have Humbug, and then even worse than Humbug is Utterly Condemned, which I think some of these will be
preserved.
Okay, B. I'm happy with that. It's got S tier moments. I don't know. I think if you haven't seen it, maybe just look up that scene. This scene on YouTube. Thank you very much. It's a song that will get stuck in your head. What about the I Hate People song?
That's a great idea, but it really doesn't go anywhere.
It kind of just keeps going.
Yeah, it just rambles on.
You want to talk about Alec Guinness, or was that?
Yeah, I
forgot to mention that Alec Guinness was in the 1970.
Yeah, he's there's a lot. He does a lot of comedy stuff in that.
They haven't seen in Hell. I forgot to mention.
Yeah. I don't think it's funny at all. There's a bit where when he first turns up as a ghost, Scrooge offers him his chair. And he sits down, but he sits down in the middle of the air next to the chair.
Yeah, it's more funny when you're describing it. Yeah. Next, we have the animated one by, is it Richard Williams, Robert Williams?
I think it's Richard Williams.
I've got it on mute, which is really the best way to watch it.
Animator's animator.
Yeah, these illustrations are absolutely beautiful. I love the way this is. I love and I hate it. Like, this is really unsettling to watch. I just took this isn't even the trailer, but I took a few moments from this to put together just while we're talking about it. But I really can't recommend this. It's on YouTube.
So you gotta recommend it. It's 20 minutes long.
It's just...
It's very faithful.
It made me feel so uncomfortable. Something about the voice performance and the audio...
It's got Alistair Simmons, doesn't it? Alistair Simmons reprises his role.
It's kind of like he's whispering the whole time, so it's like a really creepy ASMR.
I'm sure he's quite old at this point. I don't think he lasted much more than this film.
But the design and the animation skill is just amazing. But really, I think watching it here is probably an improved experience to watching these really unsettling.
It's the most accurate portrayal of Ghost of Christmas
Yeah,
Past.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, in the book, it describes how it's so bright he doesn't want to look at it, and that's and hence the cap that it's holding. He asks it to put the hat on because its head is shining so bright. Yeah, I kind of just skipped to Christmas present. Like it looks really great, but he looks this like hairy bra he's got on.
It looks like he's got a female to male binding.
Really faithful adaptation. So it's got Christmas presents sprinkling the bits from his torch onto people's food to make it taste better, and it's got them going to all the different remote places where they're singing Christmas carols. You know, in a mine. Here we go. Up a lighthouse, and at sea there's people who are in really really depressing situations, really remote, deprived situations who are still celebrating Christmas. Which I think is a really nice lesson for Scrooge, who, you know, he has every reason to be thankful, but he's miserable on Christmas Day. So I don't like that they leave this out of many adaptations. So we got this scene where it's Fred's party, his nephew. I really enjoy every adaptation that has them playing the game where they're trying to guess. Fred is thinking of Scrooge, and they're all trying to ask questions about trying to find out who it is, and Fred is just getting more and more amused as they...
Does he, in the books, does he find out that it's him?
Yeah, he starts playing along. Like in the Muppets Christmas Carol does it perfectly, where he's a ghost and yet he's still like making guesses.
That's a little bit like Thank You Very Much, isn't it? With like him getting into the spirit of the thing, but he finds out that it's actually just a...
He gets carried away with it, yeah. But they were dissing him.
Is that his expense? This guy's nose.
Yeah, right.
It's a strong choice. I want his nose to look like it's melting off.
How do you rate this one?
I'll definitely put 8 here.
Okay. I think
it's very accurate.
It's a really good demo for this film, but it should be about twice as long. And
no, I like it.
They should really record the performances better.
This and Mickey, I like the fact. Yeah, the original. I mean, it's not a super short book, but it's a fairly short book, and I quite like these 25-minute versions of Christmas Carol. They're like don't mess around. And it's quite interesting that despite the fact it's 20 minutes long, it's actually got more stuff from the book than a lot of the even 3-hour versions.
If you who are playing it long at home, this is a public tier list that you can make your own one of. If you've seen all 16 of these, you can play along at home and send me your tier list. I want to know how you ranked them. But I think I'm going to put it at B because it's got S tier moments, but it really is very unsettling to watch, and it's not uplifting, it's not Christmassy. Well crafted, but it's somewhere in the production they just stopped working on it and had to rush it out the door or something.
How does this start? If you watch the Rich Williams stuff, it's very scratchy and raw.
But it's not the drawings are great. I like that about it. It's the abrupt transitions, the lack of backing track.
I think there's some. Yeah, I think they probably cut it for time or something.
Yeah, there's a strong vote out there of people who really like Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I think
possibly for nostalgia, but it's also, I think, quite decent.
Yeah,
it's one of the shorter ones on here, but it's quite charming. It's not bad anywhere. It's just quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a proto Muppets Christmas Carol in that
it's silly, but
it's playing around with. Yeah, it's adapting it, but it's sticking in everything. Everyone's a Disney character. It's Muppets is everyone. Most people are a Muppets character. So here it's Disney, and they're just kind of having fun with it, but also being fairly, at least thematically, very accurate to the.
Yeah, they make a token effort at making the spooky parts spooky and making the heartwarming parts heartwarming. It's not it's not just silly. It's silly in all the right places, and it is funny. You got Scrooge McDuck being a good Scrooge, in that he's grumpy but also kind of sassy and funny.
Yeah, they made good choices
way.
About who they've. Yeah, Mickey Mouse and Bob Cratchit kind of makes sense. Yeah, Goofy is kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, Marley.
But it works. Yeah, I like it. I would definitely put this in A rank.
All right. You want to finish watching the trailer? I think this is just the final scene because I wanted to see all the characters again. And Donald Duck is his nephew. I don't know if is Donald Duck supposed to be incomprehensible? Like, there's a part where he makes a speech about Christmas. Like, I believe that Christmas has done me. In the book, I mean, Fred, the nephew, says he makes this speech about Christmas to his uncle, and Bob Cratchit is so inspired by it, he starts clapping. But in this, it's Donald Duck saying it, so he just kind of quacks it out, and then Bob Cratchit starts clapping, and it's kind of funny that the audience. It's funny if the audience doesn't know what Donald is saying.
Yeah, I don't remember that from this.
Anyway, it's a really funny joke if it was supposed to be a joke. Mickey's, what do you think?
A? Yeah.
A. Let's do it. I agree. It's not S, but it is good. This is Patrick Stewart.
Is it?
Oh no, George C. Scott.
Yeah.
1984.
It's
that thing where they did such a good job of adapting it in this case. Why do it again if you're going to do a straight adaptation for film?
It was, yeah. After this, there was Muppets in the 90s, and then after that, it was the 2009 CGI one.
Right.
Both of those were
major release.
You could argue that they were adaptations,
but they were doing something new with it. That's what I'm saying. This is just, we're going to do our best with a big budget to make a really good Christmas Carol adaptation, not a musical, not a cartoon. We're just going to try and adapt it, and it's got they make a good attempt at the at accuracy, but they don't stick to specific dialogue from the book exactly. They kind of make it a little bit more naturalistic, so the lines don't sound quite so hammy. I think it's good all round. I don't think I really like George C. Scott as Scrooge. I think he's a good actor and he's doing something. He's a bit too strong, like a bit too manly. I think Scrooge should be a bit more pathetic than this.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
I don't. We talked about this at the time. I don't like any Marley's Ghost where he's not. He has to be transparent, is what I'm saying. It always looks stupid if he's not transparent.
The thing I want Marley to be is like scary. I don't like it when he's just like a guy in chains.
I want to give it an A. What do you think? B?
I've seen it more than once. I feel like I should give it an A, but I really can't really think of anything that I really liked about it.
I think I'm comfortable with it in a B. It's definitely not humbug. I don't really want to watch it again. I'm not going to go next Christmas. I don't think there's any way I'm going to say I want to watch 1984 George C. Scott as Scrooge. I don't think I'm ever going to watch this film again in my life. This is an American Christmas Carol. You watched this. I watched it a little bit. But I understand. So Henry Winkler, the Fonz, plays not Scrooge, but a Scrooge-like man in America.
It's a classic remix version. It's meant to be more or less the same story, but it's in America and it's set in the 1940s.
Yeah, so he plays young Scrooge at the actor's proper age.
Yeah.
And then when he's old Scrooge, he wears some quite embarrassing old man makeup.
Yeah. The three ghosts are people in the film, but they're playing the ghosts. They're not actually Henry Winkler is confused himself when they turn up and go why are you here? I just repossessed your clock or whatever. And yeah.
So this is the Ghost of Christmas Present?
Yeah, so there's he went to a boarding school, went to an adoption boarding school for 1 year, and he goes back there to repossess some stuff, and the headmaster's there and goes, oh, you must have good memories here. He goes I was only here a year, blah blah, I'm taking your clock. As Tiny Tim's dad.
Bob Cratchit.
Yeah, he's not called Bob Cratchit, but
he's a Cratchit stand-in.
Yeah, and he's the Tiny Tim is sick and needs to go to Australia.
Yeah, I remember that bit. I watched the end with you.
Yeah, it's fine. There's a weird bit, this is talking about stuff they add. It's not a version in it, but he gets adopted from the orphanage. He's an actual orphan in this story.
Okay.
And this guy turns up, and he goes like, "Oh, I want somebody to be my apprentice at the wood workshop." And the woman says, "Oh, any of these boys would be good." He goes, "What is that boy at the back there?" And blah blah blah. And he like takes him here, and he goes like, you can be my apprentice." He goes, he goes there late at night, and he thinks someone's burgling it or something, but it's just the guy working there late. And I think he goes in there with his girlfriend, and he's smoking a cigar, and he leaves the cigar out. And then the place burns down, and the guy didn't insure it, and Scrooge doesn't pay for it, so he goes out of business.
Mm-hmm. Just give me a ranking.
It's Cumbug, I guess. The ones that are doing something different, I kind of like.
You like that they're doing something different?
Well, it's just like when you've watched like 14 adaptations.
All right. Well,
if they're doing something different, you go like, okay, at least I don't know what's going to happen next scene.
Is the next one? I think chronologically, at least on my list, it's Scrooged. Bill Murray.
Yeah, this is the one I've got the most nostalgia for. This is my Scrooge. Can
I say I like Bill Murray and I like some of the jokes in this, but I don't really like the film.
Well, you're wrong. This is great because it's got like Marley's actually terrifying. He's like, actually the best sort of like he's a rotting corpse. He's got like mice living in his head. And he is his
previous like boss or his previous business partner.
I like how they integrate it into
New York culture. There's a cabbie and
he's a TV executive doing a TV adaptation of Scrooge, which is like even in the 80s I guess was kind of cliche thing to do. He just doesn't care at all. I like the way they remix this. I think it's really good. Yeah.
I really appreciate the effort. I just don't like. I don't like Tiny Tim. Like I really don't like watching it. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate. No. I'm just.
The song at the end.
What's the song at the end?
Put a little love in your heart.
I'll take an average of your rating and my rating because I don't think we're going to agree on this.
Mine is S.
Okay. I was going to give it a B, so let's put it in A. What have we got this time? It's an animated one. Is this Tim Curry?
Yes.
Oh, this is cursed. Can we just put this in humbug and call it? I mean,
okay,
is it humbug or is it utterly condemned? Anything redeemable about it? I mean, Tim Curry gives a good performance, but like why? Like the animation is bad. Like they give him a dog.
Look, I don't think the animation is bad.
It's cheap.
It's cheapy. It's TV quality animation. Like they could have. It's got a dog character, which isn't the only dog character Scrooge has in a different adaptation.
Yeah. It's not the only adaptation that does that.
Yeah, it's
Marley looks like the Hulk.
Has he got songs in it? It's musical, isn't it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. Did we even watch all of this?
Yeah, we watched it all.
And it's not just Tim Curry. It's also Michael York is Cratchit and Whoopi Goldberg is in it.
Yeah.
It's got famous people.
She's not the only black. That's the other. It's like making the
Christmas present
a black person is a fairly common thing for some reason.
If anyone's got fond memories of this, and they're not going to mind if we just skip past this. I think utterly condemned.
People have fond memories of. Some people have fond memories of all these.
I'm sorry if you've got fond memories of 1991 Christmas Carol, but we did not have a fun time watching it.
Next. It's just cheating.
Yeah. I mean, Muppet's Christmas Carol, everyone I've talked to about this project that we're doing of watching all of the adaptations, they always bring up this and say, it's the best. Right? I think this is, a lot of people have this as their favourite.
I would like to subvert expectations. It is a bit of a sort of like a Reddit, Die Hard's my favourite Christmas film kind of thing to say that this is the best version, but it is extremely good.
The songs are really strong, and in a musical, that carries the film. I really like all of the.
The set is great. It's kind of like if you look closely, you can see it's not super expensive, but they do a lot with it.
I don't like the Marley and Marley song.
You don't?
No, we talked about this before. Like I skipped past that one. We listened to the soundtrack.
I like it.
It just goes on a bit, but yeah, I mean these are all just niggles. And also got a lot of references to the source material because they've got Dickens as a character giving the narration, which is often lifted straight from the book. Yeah. Not with the rat stuff, but it sneaks in a lot of narration that is absent from many of the adaptations.
Isn't the book fairly conversational?
Yeah, exactly. It like the book is a comedy. Like, I think a lot of people think that to do a good Christmas Carol adaptation, you've got to make it serious and scary and dark.
Yeah.
But actually, it's written as a comedy. Like it's funny. The lines are funny. The like observational narration. It starts with this like like Jerry Seinfeld stand-up bit about being as dead as a doornail. Michael Caine as Scrooge. I think some people have said that he's just a bit too likable.
Is he?
He's grumpy, but he's, for one thing, he's handsome, which for me is like not perfect for Scrooge, and he doesn't really have that venom that I think Scrooge is supposed to have.
I don't know.
I mean, it's S tier. Like I'm not really like let's have a spoiler alert. It's I'm not nothing that I'm saying is going to put it anything less than an S tier.
Yeah.
It's only a question of whether we should move Alistair Sim down because the Muppets Christmas Carol is so good it needs to stand on its own. The next one, Patrick Stewart, I think. But it's good. Like, I think that this is actually my favourite straight adaptation. Like, Christmas Past notwithstanding. Patrick Stewart is not my favourite Scrooge, but it's one of the adaptations that manages to take the source material, take the scenes and the dialogue from the book, and just make it, like, watchable and make it as fun as it is to read. With sets and acting, characterization. I can't really express just how well it gets across the scenes. The
Ghost of Christmas Future looks like it's got LEDs on his face and
the Ghost of Christmas Future is not my favourite. Yeah,
that's stupid.
He's got this big bulbous head with the two like orange LEDs.
Oh, right, with the lighting. Yeah, like he's just walking, and some scenes is very well lit, and he's just there. Patrick Stewart isn't that great as Scrooge either.
He kind of just comes across as Picard, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like that arc thing. It doesn't. I don't really think it lands a bit well with Patrick Stewart. He's got gravitas. He's a bit like George C. Scott. Like, he's a good actor, and parts of it are quite good, but he doesn't feel like Scrooge.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He's a bit, like I said about Michael Caine, I think he's a bit too handsome and a bit too likable to be really irredeemable Scrooge. It's a good adaptation. I want to give it an A. What do you want to give it?
B.
Well, it's my list. I like it. I like it more than George C. Scott, definitely. This is a real remix. It's the year 2000.
Oh yeah, this one. This one is like, it's so shit. I love it. It's cheap.
It's ITV. It's like pinnacle of like cheap
crap.
English TV.
It's
very weird. They've got the Groundhog Day motif in this one. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
He lives Christmas Day 3 times, each time
with a different ghost, and they can't afford 3 ghosts, they just have the second ghost to do 2 ghosts.
I forgot about that. Yeah, but so they're people that he knows. So the Christmas Past is his dad, and Marley is like his old business partner. Marley is also the Christmas
Past and future.
No, he's also
present and future.
Present and future.
Yeah, and it's set in this famous backdrop with those famous flats
housing
in London.
estate.
When he becomes like half good.
Yeah. So it's the Groundhog Day thing. It's almost like exactly like Groundhog Day, where when he sees like that his bad deeds have done bad to other people, he tries to do good things without the spirit behind it. He just goes through the motions of giving people money.
Yeah, he gives this woman a TV and goes like, "You take it."
He gets really mad at her. But this is the one we're watching now is not that scene. This is where he initially takes the TV.
Yeah.
Because he's a bailiff. He's a loan shark, but he's also a bailiff. I don't really know why he needs Bob Cratchit working for him, because it seems like Bob Cratchit's not very helpful.
Bob Cratchit's working for free because he's indebted to him.
Yeah.
So
is he getting the coffees? Like, I don't know exactly what.
He's just following around, doing the spreadsheet stuff.
Yeah.
Making sure he's.
Can you remind me who that actor is? Bob Cratchit, not this guy. I also need to remember his name. Ross Kemp.
Yeah, Ross Kemp. Yeah.
TV Hardman. This is the one. Yeah. He said like the modern remix is a genre you're partial to.
Yeah, I mean I enjoy it on the level of Ross Kemp is just not Scrooge, but then he's not meant to be Scrooge. Is he called Scrooge in this?
He's called Eddie Scrooge.
Okay, I mean I like it. It's that early 2000s aesthetic.
I like the Scrooge, like Scrooged for Bill Murray. It's like, what if Scrooge was in a different time in a different place? Like, what is? What is that like? I think it's like I say, it's very cheap. The fact they can't get all the ghosts by different actors, it feels like this is really made on like all the money went straight to Phil Mitchell. I think this is one of the few ones that I'd actually recommend it. I'm not going to put it in S, but I do kind of want people to watch this one.
Yeah,
Like it's really worth. I think it's worth the time.
It's more memorable to me than the
I think
Patrick Stewart one or the.
Putting it on a tier with these three is probably giving it too much credit. So I'm going to put it here.
Definitely moved down Patrick Stewart beneath that one.
I like Patrick Stewart. I like this. I like 1999. It's a good adaptation. Okay. Anything more you want to say about the this one, for Ross Kemp?
No, I just.
There's interesting things
I
about.
just watched it recently, but it really feels to like the what was that Oasis music video where it was like a clever twist.
Stand By Me.
Yeah.
By Oasis.
And I guess I guess they were both filmed around the same time, or
Yeah.
at least like a few years of each other. They're both kind of set on like dingy 70s council estates with like rough characters.
It's funny when you're watching stuff from that period for how old everything. What is that thing you said? Like these. It didn't look that old when I lived in it. I don't remember it looking that old when I was a kid. What's this? This is a really bad.
Yeah, this is.
Kelsey we didn't even watch it. Did you watch more of it than me?
I think I watched more or less all of it.
Kelsey Grammer and a bunch of other famous people did a musical of. I've gone past it again. Of A Christmas Carol. I can't quite convey exactly what was bad about it, except that it looked very cheap. It looked like an.
It didn't look cheap.
You said it looked like an SNL sketch. Like the quality of the set dressing and lighting.
The Kelsey Grammer just is a terrible Scrooge. Like it's like you'd think it'd be a good Scrooge. I mean, this would be much better if they did the American. They made it set in America, but it's set in London, and it just at no point looks like London. But it's also a musical.
Do you know
the songs are kind of okay, but they're way too like cartoony. The songs, so they're written by the Disney guy, who's usually like quite good, and then like you got fucking Jason Alexander.
Oh yeah, it's Cratchit. I forgot about that.
He's not Cratchit. He's fucking Marley. So stupid. Like he died. Like, and they have like that sexy woman.
Yeah, she's the lamplighter who like.
Yeah, all of the ghosts are. It's like Wizard of Oz rules, where they're not the same character, but they're the same actor, and they come back.
Yeah, they're people from his subconscious.
Yeah, like the sets are really big, and I guess that meant they were expensive. They just look bad. They look way too like theatrical.
The trailer looks.
I mean, it's a musical, so it's meant to be theatrical, but like the whole thing, like is like nails on a chalkboard all the way through. Like, his wigs, it's just terrible.
I'm going to go ahead and put it in utterly condemned.
Yeah.
But while I'm doing that, I wanted to tell you, if you haven't ever seen the last episode of Frasier, the last episode of Frasier is a Christmas Carol kind of remix, where they have Frasier being confronted by all his ex-girlfriends or all the actresses that could get to come back.
Yeah.
And I think there's no reason to watch this. There's no reason on earth. If it was the only film that you had to watch, maybe it would be better than watching nothing for the rest of your life. But otherwise, is this the really big Tiny Tim?
Might be.
Yeah, there was one that had a 12-year-old Tiny Tim who looked big. Enormous. Considering, I think your comment was, there's no way he's going to go on Scrooge's shoulder at the end. And he did. This is 2009. Jim Carrey, Robert Zemeckis, performance capture technology.
Yeah.
This is really obnoxiously ugly film. There are some redeeming qualities to it, but I really hate the slapstick. I hate the Jim Carrey performance. This is it's really cursed. I think I made the utterly condemned tier with this in mind.
Really?
Even though it's got, to its credit, it sticks the most to the book dialogue. It's got every scene from the book. It doesn't add any scenes. It just adds it adds some transition. It's not a scene. It's like a transition. They've added these weird.
They added the bit where he gets chased down the street by the giant thing and he turns into a tiny mouse.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the book.
You're right. But if you're taking what you mean by scenes, you are correct. It adds lots of fluff that is really obnoxious. You get it's not everything looks like Ugly Sonic. Remember when they had that Ugly Sonic? before they made him look better. Like everything, all of their teeth look awful. I don't even want to watch the trailer for this. It's really obnoxious 3D era CGI
it's very obvious where like they've sat down and like tried to think up ways they can
have things come out at you. Yeah, all these beads flying around. Ugh. I mean, it is kind of impressive on one level, where they really do capture the performances with the technology, but something about the way that it transposes onto. Is it a really high frame rate? There's something really uncomfortable about watching this.
No, it's just because it's Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, ultimate Uncanny Valley.
They've not animated it; they've motion captured it.
Yeah, I think they did also animate like that.
Yeah,
performance capture.
You can't literally motion capture it, but they really like leaned into that motion capture.
Okay. Utterly condemned. Do you have disagreements?
I mean, probably more humbug because of the Again, I kind of enjoy the sort of like
the least they tried something.
Yeah.
Okay, well it is Christmas, and then Henry Winkler's on his own at the moment, so I'm gonna put it in humbug. Okay, in the same year as that came Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, which is not about Christmas at all. It's not about a man called Scrooge, but it really does stick to It's set at Christmas, but they never mention it. I think that was a post-script choice where it was never included in the script that they were talking about Christmas. It's just the set dressing thing. But it actually does stick to the spirit of it. Matthew McConaughey is a red pill pickup artist. He doesn't hate women. He really just likes to bed them and then not call them after.
Yeah.
And it's set in this weird alternate universe where all the women are more or less fine with that. Kind of He's such a stud that they're just grateful for. Yeah, they just want to spend the night with him and get attention for a little while. Although his part of his facing reality is having to face this, all of the tears that have been shed for him, all of the broken hearts that he's left behind that he's never really thought about. From his perspective, he's just having a good time with women, and then going on to the next one. He's a photographer. He's very wealthy and handsome and smooth talking, so he just gets, he gets girls quite easily. Or his brother's getting married. Yeah, he doesn't want his brother to get married. He's marriage a humbug. It's basically Does he not want his brother to get married? Or yeah. He's not fighting against it. No, I mean he's just going whatever. He's at the wedding. He doesn't want to give a toast. And when he gets a bit drunk, he starts spouting off about all the reasons he doesn't really believe in love. Michael Douglas is the Marley. He's the uncle who took him in. He adopted him as a child and taught him how to be a stud. Yeah. Emma Stone is in quite an early role here. Just had a tiny flash at that. She's really good in this. You think she's really good? Yeah, she's really good. She's the absolute highlight of this film. I'm really surprised to hear you say that. You just got a flash of her there. I'm not going to try and find it again. But yeah, so she's the Ghost of Girlfriends Past. Yeah. Because she's his first ever girlfriend. Yeah. Well, this is the first girl he slept with. Yeah, and so she's playing a 13-year-old girl, but I think it would be extremely uncomfortable if she was played by a 13-year-old girl, so they get a 20-year-old Emma Stone. What is she 19, 18? I think this is one of the earliest roles, isn't it? To play his first girlfriend as she was then, with braces and pigtails, and I think it's quite a good film. It's not really excellent, but it's better than all of the ones we've seen. And I like you said about the remix. It's interesting to see where they'll go with it. Yeah, I mean I thought it was fine, and it is genuinely kind of heartwarming that the lessons that he has to learn, they're very different from Scrooge's, but it is also similar in that he's thematically, like I said, he's learning to be altruistic in a different sense. If you look at the very broad strokes of Scrooge, it's a guy has a bad attitude and he goes through a series of events and he ends up with a good attitude. And it's about making that journey believable, and But even though this isn't amazing or anything, but it's fine. It's it's a fun. You see, you're familiar with the story. I was going to mention it's cute how they play around with the Christmas Carol tropes as a rom-com. Yeah, I mean that is what it is. It's a perfect synthesis of the two genres. But even though he's really rich, he doesn't. He's never incentivized to give away his money. It's absolutely not about generosity in any other sense than finding love. With Jennifer Garland, is that her name?
Yeah, and I guess it is another thematic thing. It carries is that like he is the number one victim.
Yeah.
It's not the people he's interacting with, although they are victims, but he's the one that suffers the most.
So the Christmas Future shows the same. His funeral is attended only by his brother, and his brother is now divorced as well because of his actions. Which I guess was a conflict it was like kind of a bit underbaked. The conflict that means his brother doesn't get married goes to girlfriend's past.
B. It's
I
like
agree.
Ross Kemp.
Right there next to Ross Kemp. Next we have the BBC adaptation with Guy Pearce. Who's the director is famous, isn't he?
Is he?
I thought it was a famous director. But this is a really different take on Scrooge. It's still set in Dickensian London.
I think this is definitely the most interesting mix of adaptation and remix, where it is completely set in the novel's like time period, setting, etc. And even though there are things that happen in the book that they could have just adapted, they just do their own thing.
Yeah.
The longest adaptation, I think.
Yeah.
It's like a 3 hours, more or less. It's like autistic.
Marley
Irritatingly, they don't like evenly spread out the ghosts throughout those 3. It's like 2/3 past. Has some very This definitely has some strong choices, making him autistic.
I think looking at it again, I think he has OCD, not autism.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's like they have him. They medicalize Scrooge slightly to the.
There's a lot of time spent with Scrooge and his personality because they've developed this new Scrooge. It's all really good. Like this performance and the script and just the cinematography is really moody. I don't know how to better describe it.
Yeah.
It's all very like dark and cold, and I really enjoyed it for giving this like fresh take. But yeah, there are some bold choices in the story that are.
In fact, it's almost like Marley is almost the main character.
I didn't like the casting of Marley for this one either.
Because it like starts off with Marley, he's great, being pissed on, and like he wakes up and he goes like, there's a hot. Like it takes like 20 minutes of like you being with Marley. Yeah. And him like going like, I'd do anything to escape this purgatory. And like he escapes purgatory and then he has to go to a different place in purgatory and then he meets up with Gollum and Gollum says
Andy Serkis.
Yeah, he's burning all the Christmas trees of Christmas past or whatever and he says like, your job is to make
you have to redeem Scrooge.
Redeem Scrooge is your redemption. And he goes, that's impossible. He's the least redeemable person in the world. He's unredeemable. So there's a lot of like Marley's like prequel Marley stuff. Like you want to know how Marley got into those chains.
It's like a fan fiction about Marley.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Marley stuff before you get to Scrooge, and then you get to Scrooge, and it's deliberately trying to zig and zag about like the classic, like what Scrooge is like, while still keeping it more or less like a bad grumpy man that doesn't like Christmas.
But he's also kind of a fedora tipping, like you're talking about like the wise men riding on camels in the snow and like how the whole story doesn't really make sense.
He's a real cynic. He's generally.
So they don't lift any of the book dialogue. There's no grave or there's more grave than gravy.
A little bit.
I don't think there's anything at all because he's a completely new Scrooge. It's almost like they've lifted out Scrooge from the book and they've put a different man in the same situation who's even grumpier and even more like cold and cynical.
Yeah, he's the edgiest.
This Scrooge does not have a love interest. He does not have a fiance in his past.
Bold choices where he goes back. You get the scene where he's back at his school.
Yeah.
And then his sister turns up with a gun.
his 14-year-old sister.
And it's just like Dog's Pulp Fiction. Motherfuckers. And she turns up, just draws the gun on this guy and says, I'm gonna fucking take Scrooge home.
Yeah, that seems like a completely unnecessary escalation. So there's definitely moments where I'm like, what were they thinking? But
it's like, pay attention, this isn't your normal Scrooge, doesn't it? It's like, we need to make people realise that.
Fanny is a strong, independent character.
And yeah, because Fanny is the Ghost of Christmas Past in this.
Yeah. Also, Bob Cratchit's wife does some kind of voodoo magic.
She summons,
She's the one who summons the spirits to haunt him.
She knows, like, voodoo magic, and she summons up the ghosts. Tiny Tim doesn't die of his thingy disease, he
falls in ice.
He falls in ice.
This is one of the worst endings in terms of time travel powers, Scrooge.
Yeah, because Scrooge at the end, like, he buys some
grit,
and he grits
the ice.
The ice, so nobody can ice skate on it.
Yeah.
Thus preventing Tiny Tim from dying.
I thought it was a real shame. Like, it really felt like they were going towards a quite good ending, where even after he's visited by 3 spirits, he still doesn't, like, he's got so much self-loathing that he doesn't believe he's redeemable. Like, he doesn't believe he deserves a good life after this, so he's sort of just torturing himself in perpetuity. He doesn't see the point in being good until he sees a woman gritting the road, and he realizes that just doing small things like that can make a big difference to the people.
His autism powers.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you're gritting the road. Like, why would you do that? You're not getting no one's paying you to grit this road.
Yeah,
so it kind of felt like, but then he's just like, oh, I can use this grit to stop this boy slipping on ice, which was the thing that killed him, because I know that because of my time travel. So I'm thinking A, but also B.
Yeah, it goes in that sort of, like, bold choice. B for bold choice.
There's some S-tier moments, I'd say. It's really long, and there's a lot of, like, humbug moments, to be honest.
This is good.
Okay, I think this is the one that I watched that made me want to do this review.
Because you loved it so much?
It was just so bad. Like,
where's that meant to be? Is there a giant ice rink in
I don't know.
London?
So this is
They did it on the Thames, didn't they? Is that meant to be the Thames?
This is a CGI animation. My first comment about it is that it kind of looks like Fortnite. It's got a kind of quite cute art style, like cel shaded. Kind of looks like Tumblr, a bit Tumblr-y. It's definitely they've tried to make Scrooge weirdly sexy. Like, he's got this, like, silver fox. He's got this, like this broad chest and his narrow waist. It's like, I'm not truly sexy, but like cartoon sexy. You know what I mean?
No.
He's got this, like, strong square jit. Like, I know how to draw people, and if I want to draw a sexy man, this is exactly what I draw. That's all I'm saying. Like, they make him malevolent, kind of like he delights in torturing people as well. Oh, and they've taken 2 songs from the 1970 Albert Finney.
Yeah, because it's a musical again.
Yeah. They've got Olivia Colman, who's, like, so hot right now.
And he's got a dog called Prudence.
Yeah, why has he got a dog?
Because they're copying it from the Tim Curry version.
I guess so. It must be. It's the only explanation.
Oh yeah, that's what they do, because it's Ghost of Christmas present in this burns up and becomes the Ghost of Christmas future.
Yeah, that does happen in a few of them. Not that exact thing, but that transition point. That they made a Scrooge out of snow. I didn't notice that before. It's that detail I didn't get. Oh, it's detail of him. Snow makes him look like Father Christmas. Yeah, so they take the "Thank You Very Much" song from the other one and just add it on the end. But even though it's an animation, they still somehow made it look much, much worse, and the performance of it is much worse. It was, like, not really bad. Weirdly, like, it looks bad, and there's lots of bad things about it. But as a watch, it was not torture. You know, it was fine. It was a bit, it was kind of like, it's like watching nothing at all, you know?
Did they have the people living under his skirt in this?
No, I don't think so.
Because he has got little goblins that, and when he gets burnt up, they turn into evil goblins.
Scrooge: A Christmas Carol, I mean, other than inspiring this entire endeavour at reviewing all the films, I don't think I'd recommend this. I don't even really want to call it a humbug. But I think I will, because
I think if you're like kids or whatever, kids will tolerate that.
Yeah, no, definitely, it's definitely family friendly.
I think humbug's fine.
I think I might call it a B later, but B is just so crowded at the moment, and it's got some. I We're looking at what else is on B. I think it's at least as good as that, actually. Kind of want to move up Ghost of Girlfriend's Past, which is like a genuinely watchable film.
And if you move up Scrooged.
Ms. Scrooge is a Hallmark adaptation of A Christmas Carol, where Scrooge is a modern day woman. Is she a lender as well?
Yeah, it's they don't change anything apart from the obvious.
Apart from the obvious.
And the time period.
Yeah, so her fiance, she has an ex-fiance who's male. If you watch this, and I didn't really watch it, by the way.
Yeah, so it is just Scrooge.
The ghosts are real people, or they're ghosts? They're the spirits. The whole film's on YouTube, but reversed and heavily cropped, which is what I'm clicking through now.
Yeah, there's a lot more, what's his name? Like, she's Mrs. Marley? Or whatever her name is, Maureen Marley or something.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like everything all of the bad habits that she has were learned from from Marley. So is this one of the ghosts, or is this?
Yeah, it's the ghost.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes fast.
Okay, so he's not ethereal. He's just a ghost.
Yeah, he's just a ghost.
But is he a character from her life?
He does his terrible English accent, I think. I'm trying to remember if he's present or past.
And Cratchit is a white man.
Yeah,
right?
Cratchit's just basic Cratchit.
Okay.
They don't change anything about Cratchit.
He's got tiny tin. Oh, there he goes, tiny tin.
The only thing they changed is
he's got a tumour.
Explicitly, doesn't even know that he exists. Because Cratchit just has been working hard and hoping to get a raise. And there's a lot of stuff in there about healthcare coverage. She doesn't have any health plans for her employees.
Right. This is Cratchit.
Yeah.
So I didn't check this, but the guy who plays Cratchit really looks like one of the dads from The Inbetweeners. I don't know if it's him because he's not American, but it really looks like him. I'll have to check that later. Maybe I'll put it up in the edit on the screen. Anything you want to say about this? I don't want to dwell on it too long because I don't think anyone has seen this film.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, let's go to Christmas Future though.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what happens in the future. Like the IRS take over business, so
okay.
Yeah, whatever. That's all I can really think of. Yeah, it's
utterly condemned.
Bold choices, maybe humbug. It's up there with American Christmas Carol. Yeah, it's like.
So you don't think not utterly condemned then? It didn't make you like want to claw your eyes out?
I mean, my expectations were low, and they were met.
Okay. I think this might be our final one. It's the last one on my list, unless you've got another one. Is this year a very bold remix came out with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell doing a Christmas Carol-like story. I don't know why it's called Spirited. It seems like the worst name ever.
Yeah.
The Christmas Carol ghosts have a kind of business. Like they do this every year to someone new, teaching them
it's
the
a
value.
Very like the Santa Claus, like whenever they do like modern Santa,
yeah,
it turns like Santa's got like a proper like factory and like there's a whole
there's an HR department.
There's like a logistics thing going on, and like this is the first time I've seen Scrooge have that, where there's a whole they find somebody a year ahead of time, and they spend a whole year like prepping the haunting. The haunting that they do.
Will Ferrell is the Ghost of Christmas Present, and Ryan Reynolds is present, but he ends up doing the job of Christmas Past.
Yeah, because they want more screen time with him.
Yeah. But Ryan Reynolds is like an irredeemable CEO type man who.
Well, he's not irredeemable. He's literally like that's the classification.
His class is irredeemable.
Like, it's not worth them trying to redeem him.
Yeah.
But
he's got a kind of social media.
This
consultant.
Is musical as well.
I quite like the songs in this.
Yeah.
It's really quite.
Despite myself.
Like up and down. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed parts of this.
Just parts I really disliked, and like some of it I was fine with. See, I don't know where to put this. I quite like Marley, and when he looks scary as the ghost.
Yeah, the actual haunting they do a really good job. Like especially when it's just a behind the scenes, it's just a simulation.
Yeah.
And all that's shot early on with all the lights going off in Ryan Reynolds' apartment. I think is cool, and Marley's like floating around with all the chains.
Yeah, it's kind of irritating because at time, if they had made like 20 different choices, I would say this could be a classic. But those 20 choices they made really undermined and irritated me.
I really enjoyed Ryan Reynolds being like he's just kind of rolling his eyes the whole time, like trying to figure out how he can get out of it.
Well, yeah, I didn't really like his arc. The whole joke is that none of the hauntings work and they don't redeem him.
And they're all kind of just it's kind of a comedy of errors, like they're messing up the haunting as well.
You have to watch the whole film and like he's just not getting affected by all the flashbacks and the present and the future. So like,
but it's really a film about Will Ferrell because he's not like a ethereal ghost. Like he is a person who used to be alive.
It'd be fine if it was just about Will Ferrell, but it's not. It is about Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But then Ryan Reynolds,
it's parallel stories. Yeah.
It's meant to be, but they don't really work that well together. Yeah, I think I like the idea. I think it needed like a few more
like
drafts,
and
stuff to try and get those. Because the plot, there's two main characters in this Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, and the film just dies. Yeah, it's a bit like the Lord of the Rings where they're doing one plot and then they completely drop it and they do the other guy's plot. But it's not quite as elegant as that, and like the plots themselves aren't that strong. But there are elements that could have been good. So I think if they could have meshed those two together, or just decided to, they could have just had him be irredeemable. That'd be just the joke, like he just goes to hell at the end. But Will Ferrell gets redeemed or whatever.
Yeah,
that'd have been a funny thing that would have. You could just focused on one character, or done the other way around, or whatever.
There are definitely A moments, but really I don't think I can give it above a B.
No, yeah, I think it's a B.
Okay. So, what have we learned? We've got like an almost perfect normal distribution. It's a perfect normal distribution of quality, with quite a strong skew towards mediocre. I think. Are there any of these that you would recommend? You know, what if an alien came and said they'd never watched any adaptations of A Christmas Carol? Which one would you recommend to them?
I don't know.
Patrick Stewart, I think.
No.
Alistair Sim. Well, you put that in S tier.
Alistair Sim or either of the two top ones.
I think I'd tell them to watch Alistair Sim. I think I'd probably tell them to read Dickens. But the book is definitely S tier. Like it doesn't really belong. Listen to the audiobook. Sincerely, like the audiobook, or listen to my live stream of me reading it. Probably less good version of that. But it's a really good book, and like I said, I never really got tired of watching adaptations of this. Even the mediocre ones, you know, they're fine. I don't really know if we need more. Is there fertile ground for like what's the untapped?
I want to find out what happens to that woman with the baby outside Scrooge's.
Penny for the baby woman.
Yeah, she's in so many adaptations, and they never
pay it off.
Yeah, Scrooge never does anything.
She's dead by Christmas Day.
Yeah, you found out she died or something.
Yeah.
At least there'd be something, but she's just.
You're right.
I wouldn't say it's like that woman and the baby is in more adaptations than the flying around for Christmas to see different things, and maybe in as many as the want and need and ignorance
and want.
Like I'm intrigued about their story.
Yeah.
There's definitely like a lot of fertile ground for the sort of spirited Scrooged, Miss Scrooge.
More remixes.
Yeah, there's one that looks really shit, but it is the sequel to Scrooge.
Mm. Oh yeah, the one where he goes to the future.
He goes to this Bob Cratchit's great grandson, and he's like Scrooge.
Yeah. And
Scrooge has to reform him.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks and is shit, but
you like the idea.
You could do something. Yeah, sequel to Scrooge is kind of like I'm surprised more people haven't tried to do that.
think there's any point doing a straight adaptation again.
Probably. No one's really tried to do a straight adaptation that was a remix in the way that like A Christmas Carol is a remix that's set in historical like times or whatever, but doing a straight version as possible
in modern times.
Or in America or whatever. Like,
isn't that what Scrooged is? I don't know. It's a comedy, but
no, I mean he's not Scrooge, is he?
He's called. His name is Scrooge. No, he's Frank Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely like Scrooge.
And he's not an old man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that, but if you are after like is it worth doing a straight version? You could do a subtly remixed straight version, and I think there's still like with CGI now. There hasn't been a post CGI Scrooge, big budget one, where you could do justice to the ghosts without doing the 2009 thing where you're just like.
Okay. So you mean live action actors, but just the ghosts and the effects are all
doing an
CGI.
Accurate version of the ghosts.
Okay.
Where they're like they're not a bit naff. Yeah, you make Marley look like a corpse properly, but not in the 2009 version where they're just. You're
talking about motion capture.
I'm just saying, like where you're using CGI in a post CGI sense, in that sort of you're not doing it to show off. You're using it subtly, like so it'd be like practical CGI, just using it where you need to use it to sort of like bring those fantastical elements to life. Not been that many good versions of Scrooge, actor-wise.
I see.
Yeah, like I say, I don't think Patrick Stewart was a good choice for Scrooge. I don't think George C. Scott was a great choice for Scrooge. I think it was probably a good choice for Scrooge.
Albert Finney and Alistair Sim were very good Scrooges.
Yeah, I think they were good Scrooges. Yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed bag as far as Scrooge, which is
pivotal to the story.
Yeah, so I think you could definitely tolerate small flat adaptations.
Are there any actors you can think would make a good Scrooge, like living actors today?
I'm really drawing a blank. Maybe what's that guy from Game of Thrones? Walter Frey.
Yeah, Walter Frey.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still alive, but he's got that Scrooge energy. Yeah. You need somebody
not pathetic enough.
You need to be somewhat pathetic,
petty
a bit petty, yeah.
If you're doing a remix, I think we talked a lot about doing remixes as like a running joke while we've been watching these. But I think one of the strongest ideas you had was to do a kind of feminist wine aunt Scrooge of like it's not that she's miserly or that she's not altruistic enough, but that she's deluded about her own sort of dating potential and her level of virtuosity. You have like the ghost of feminism past and
what you have there.
It's like being this was the house you were raised in where you were never allowed to have a Barbie.
No, because you want to see her as being like
she was good once.
Yeah, she like Barbie.
You used to bake cookies with your mummy, didn't you? Like that?
You should dream about having a wedding.
I haven't quite figured out how to make that hang together, but
yeah.
Did you have any other really good ideas for remixes?
I'm sure it was said, but that's the Laney Christmas Carol.
Yeah. This is your future. This is your boyfriend who you dumped because you weren't ready for commitment, and now he's married to a woman with they've got 3 kids together. Yeah,
that'd be the most obvious.
It's one. It's like Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. It's just with a woman who doesn't want to get married. I think that's all we'll get around to today. But I hope everyone had a really merry Christmas.
And
I know we did.
You can mention any of your favourite ones we didn't get around to.
Oh yeah, if we didn't review one, you better leave a comment about what it was.
We go through some of the ones we didn't see. We open up the list.
93 ones. I think we watched. How long did we go until we?
We didn't talk about The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Yeah. What does that say about The Man Who Invented Christmas?
I mean, that's an interesting remix. Didn't like it. The way that they try and do the adaptation straight, but that's really not the point. The point is that how that straight adaptation kind of mirrors the parts of Charles Dickens's life. They definitely try and give you a thematic, structured feel that it's Christmas Carol, but the actual things that are happening are nothing to do with Christmas Carol. But they're inspiring Christmas Carol.
Okay.
I'm making it sound better than it is, because
It's not a good film.
It is kind of irritating film.
It's irritating to watch something that's it's purporting to be historical when you know it's not based on any documented history of Dickens.
I was expecting to really hate it, and I kind of thought it was okay in the end. Talk about the Flintstones, the Jetsons.
Yeah.
The 1930s versions.
Yeah. None of the stage versions.
Yeah, there's a kind of, because your dad was talking about, he watched a one-man show, but when I was looking it up, I found 4 different one-man shows.
There's one that someone told me to watch called Christmas Carol Gone Wrong. Christmas Carol Goes Wrong, which I think is a stage thing.
Okay.
Which I'm guessing is about some actors. It's like the Flintstones. It's about actors who are doing a Christmas Carol. We didn't talk about the Barbie.
Yeah,
that was one of the most popular ones.
The Doctor Who version. Mr.
Magoo apparently is very popular in America. Never seen it anywhere here.
Beavis and Butthead version. All Dogs Christmas.
Go to Heaven.
Smurfs one.
A Christmas Karen. The Stingiest Man in Town. Another animated one.
This one was kind of intrigued by.
Ebenezer.
A Wild West retelling. Scrooge is a land baron, gunfighter, and card cheat who's visited by 3 spirits. Jack Palance. So
that does look good. Maybe next year we'll do another forgotten Christmas Carol.
There's the gay version.
It's Christmas Carol. Is that Carrie Fisher, or does it just look like Carrie Fisher?
It's Carrie Fisher. Yeah.
Wow. Her name's Carol, if you didn't get that from the way I said it.
Well, there are 6 ones with that pun.
Yeah, Christmas Carol.
Stella Scrooge.
Estella, okay.
There's the porn version.
Passions of Carol. I mean, it's really a no-brainer, isn't it?
Carry on Christmas.
He's in bed and he's visited by 3 people. It's kind of
yeah.
Writes itself, doesn't it? The rap battle on YouTube I watched.
Yeah,
there was Murdoch Christmas. Yeah, the abridged series Christmas Carol episode. It's like 4 minutes long. Christmas Carol Goes Wrong. This is the one that people told me to watch. Is this a film version of it then? I guess it must be because it's on Letterboxd. Maybe we should have watched it.
Well, maybe we will.
Maybe we will next year. I think I'm done with Christmas Carol for now.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it again until next December.
Alright then, I'm finished if you are.
I'm finished. Thanks everyone for joining us. If you made it to the end, well done. If you watched all of the Christmas Carol adaptations that we watched, I'll send you a mince pie.